welcome to this episode of Plant People. And I have the beautiful Jess here with me from Vegan Tours. So, Jess, tell me, Vegan Tours, what brought it about? Like, what's a vegan tour?
So many layers to a vegan tour. No, a vegan tour is very, very simple. It's a food tour essentially that just happens to be vegan. So we take you to all the best vegan either shopping, food, retail venues. It gives you a way to experience veganism in a really gentle way.
Okay. Yeah. And so are all the businesses you go to vegan, or do you go to ones that have really great vegan options as well?
We try and support 100% vegan businesses as much as we can because they've done so much for the movement here in Australia.
Yes.
But we also really like supporting the businesses that are also adding in vegan options. So even if they're not fully vegan yet and they're embracing veganism, we think that's really important as well. And we want to make it an experience that if we can show people venues that maybe they can come back to you with their non-vegan friends.
Yeah.
It's a comfortable way for them to transition into veganism as well. So we never want it to be an aggressive approach.
No.
Yeah, we like the softly approach.
Yeah, that's lovely. And so when you came up with this idea, where did the idea come from? Like, because it's such a good idea, and there are walking tours for all sorts of things in cities, right? You go walking to see like churches, or you go on like a pub crawl.
Yeah,
I'd never really heard of like a food crawl. This is essentially what you're doing, right?
So there's lots of different tours you can do around all major cities around the world. So there's chocolate tasting tours. You might do a coffee tour. There might even be food tours or wine tasting tours.
Yeah.
The idea for the vegan tours came around when my partner Dan and I were traveling around Europe last year, and we were in Paris, and we were looking for vegan food in Paris, and obviously being in a very cheese, meat, dairy heavy city, we were like, okay, it's going to be a little more difficult. But we found a vegan food tour in Paris, of all places. Like, this sounds like fun. So we went and did one, and we realized that this vegan food tour movement was happening all around Europe. We found tours in Berlin, Madrid, Amsterdam.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah. So all these places around Europe were really embracing veganism, and these tours were showcasing the best places to go to. And we thought, living in Melbourne, we live in this world's second most vegan-friendly city.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. Melbourne was like a trailblazer when it came to veganism, right?
Yeah, we've had some of the best vegan venues open for up to 40 years now. So when veganism is, just a fad, like, look at these places. And we thought, surely someone is already running a vegan food tour here in Melbourne, and no one was. So we basically set up and put out the feelers. My partner Dan works in Facebook advertising, so he did a little test and put it out to the internet to say, like, vegan food tours coming soon, and tried to see whether there was some interest, and we got a lot of interest. So we figured that was a good place to start, and basically went from there. So we started in Melbourne in October 2018, and then we started here in Sydney in April 2019.
So it's new. It's a really new business.
Very new business. It's very, very in its infancy.
And how often do you or Dan yourselves run the tours?
We run them weekly. So every weekend we have tours running.
That's awesome.
So, and we do up to 3 different suburbs in Sydney and in Melbourne. So Melbourne, we do St Kilda, Fitzroy, and the Central Business District.
Okay, yep.
And then in Sydney we do Glebe, which is where we are today, up in Sydney, Surrey Hills, and Newtown.
Awesome. And so, if you're curious about vegan food, would you say that this is a good thing to do? Like, what's the percentage of vegans versus non-vegans that you would get on your tours?
At the moment, it's about 70% non-vegan. So we have more
that is incredible.
People who aren't vegan actually coming on our tours, which is so cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, which is really awesome because it means that we're actually reaching more people who've never eaten this food before, or have never even thought about eating this food before. And, we have heard from people that people are trying, a meat-free Monday afterwards, or they think their friend who came with them is really embracing vegetarianism. So
that's great.
It's a nice, gentle introduction to veganism, and that's the way we want to approach these tours.
That's fantastic. So you're not going to preach at people on tour?
No, definitely not. And that's definitely not our mission because we're of the opinion that we weren't born vegan. We didn't go vegan until our mid-20s. So we aren't in any position to judge anyone who is still making that transition or still deciding what they want to do. Everyone learns in their own way. And we just hope that maybe we can plant a little seed that might flourish in a day or a week or another 5 years down the track.
What was the process when you were deciding what businesses to put in your tour? Like, how did you decide to structure a tour?
We wanted it to be a tour that you got taken to places that you had never been before, or places that are kind of off the beaten track, so to speak. So our tour in Fitzroy, if anyone's watching this who's from Melbourne, knows that Brunswick Street in Fitzroy is the mecca for vegan food. There's so many places along there. So there's also some really popular venues that have been open for a really long time.
Yes.
And we found that people who've been vegan for a long time, or even people visiting Melbourne, they usually tend to go to those spots that are more well known, because
like Veggie Bar.
Yeah, or your Smith and Daughters, and they've done such an amazing thing for the vegan movement. So they're like the go-to places that you want to go to, whether you're visiting Melbourne or whether you've been a vegan or a vegetarian for a long time.
Yeah.
And we adore those places, and we really want everyone to go and check those places out because they're so incredible. However, we know that along Brunswick Street specifically, in about a 1.5 kilometre stretch, there's about 50 different places that offer vegan-friendly options. So that's a lot of restaurants.
That's a lot of restaurants.
So, people might be like, I've eaten everywhere on Brunswick Street. And you
like,
might have
no, you have not.
Trust me, you haven't. And there's new places up opening all the time, which is so exciting. So exciting. We tend to take people, so on a Fitzroy tour, we'll go to a traditional Vietnamese place where we'll have rice paper rolls, some salt and pepper tofu, some authentic food that's all made.
So good.
We'll then visit an Israeli street food place. We'll have some falafel, some veggies, some really cool roasted cauliflower, eggplant. I know everyone's like, vegan food's boring, and this is vegetables, but it's so good.
People eat so much vegan food without even knowing that they're eating vegan food half the time, right?
Yeah. We have ice cream. Sometimes we'll have vegan cakes. We go to a new European place that's just opened up, and they have vegan antipasto platters. So vegan cheeses, vegan meats. It's a real introduction to places in it as well. Like we love it if someone's like, I love this place. I can't wait to bring my friend, my boyfriend, my mum, my whoever back here. That makes us really happy, because that's also something that we see as a full circle effect of our tours, that we're here to grow the vegan movement. We're here to make this a long-term thing that people make as a decision. So if it means that, and even if, they don't go vegan after the tour, but they love the food, and it means that they come back to that, everyone's supporting each other in that way, which is really cool.
Yeah. It's a really supportive community.
Yeah,
isn't
absolutely.
It?
Yeah.
And the more, one of the things that I love about my job is that I get to meet and talk to people like you, and then build these relationships that build onto bigger and better things. And you get to collaborate and do all of this great work together, and it's all built around being connected, not just to each other, but to the earth as a greater thing, because we know that, all of the things about meat and what it's doing to our water supplies and to our forests, and all of the grain being grown to feed animals as opposed to feeding humans, it makes no sense. So being able to show people, and especially I think we're going to go somewhere today where we eat croissants. You can still eat all of the foods that you think you're going to give up, and you're not going to give them up.
No.
It's you don't have to, right?
Yeah. And there's so much more of a gain than to what you might give up. And there's one of my favorite quotes is by someone called Roy E. Disney, not the Walt Disney, but a different Disney guy. But he says that once you know what your values are, your decisions are really easy to make.
Oh, so easy. That's a great quote.
Yeah, and I just think that's a really beautiful thing, because, you might miss the taste of something, or you might want to eat something, but your brain just starts to tick over and go, actually, you know what, I don't need that. And that's what's awesome about the businesses that we go to, is that they've had that experience, and they're like, okay, well, how can I make a product that doesn't hurt anything, but it can be enjoyed by everybody?
Yes.
And that's really important. So that's sort of why we say, it's a food tour that happens to be vegan, because at the end of the day, it's just good food.
Yeah. And tell us a little bit more about you. So you were born in Melbourne? Are you a Melbourne
I was actually born and raised in southwest Sydney.
Oh, wow.
So I grew up in a little town called Appin, which don't know if this is like appropriate to tell, but I remember this. We lived on the back of, I think it was I don't really know whether it was a dairy farm or it was something. It might have. There was cows in the backyard. Anyway, they would come to our back fence, and so now I look back. I've always had this connection and love for animals. Like we would have cows that we would feed our veggie scraps to that would come to our back fence. We had chickens. We rescued a puppy from somewhere.
You were destined to,
I feel like
to do something like
destiny,
this.
But, growing up in the country, both my parents grew up on dairy farms, not eating
So did my
or
mum.
drinking things like that was really frowned upon and seen as a sort of a disrespect.
Yes.
But moving to Melbourne, I think that's where all of that came bubbling out of me.
Yeah, for
in a
sure.
way. Finding a new way to be ethical about the things I was doing, and same with Dan. The sort of trigger for us was a trip to Borneo. We were fundraising money to go and save the rainforest, and someone asked me why I was so passionate about saving orangutans, but I was still eating cows. And I'd never, ever thought of something like that before.
Yeah, it's like when the penny drops.
Yeah, I was like, that's a very, very good point. So pretty much from then we started altering our decisions, and that was a little over 5 years ago. At the time we're working in sports, so we're doing something very, very different now.
Yes. Yeah.
Where it was sort of, we were on the other end, we were used to interviewing footy players or tennis
Yes,
players.
okay.
So, and we're running vegan food tours. But we both, we love being around people and we love eating. We're definitely, when everyone's like, oh, vegans look so sickly and unwell.
No,
and
we
like,
don't. No, we don't.
Honey, where do you think all that falafel goes? We've eaten a lot.
We got falafel thighs, girl.
Yeah.
So
constant
good.
food, baby.
That's so good. Okay, so I have to ask, because I know people are going to ask me, where are your earrings from?
They are from a place called Daphne May. And they're actually from my friend Carmen. I borrowed them.
Yeah, we've got a Carmen in front and behind the camera today.
Thank you. One of my best mates up here in Sydney, who's been very, very supportive of our new vegan business up here in Sydney, which is really amazing to have supportive friends when you start something very new and very,
tell me about it,
away from the norm. I normally would have avocado earrings I have in a market, but I actually forgot to bring them with me. So thankfully, Carmen has an amazing earring collection.
I like them. The zebras are good.
Yeah. Save the animals. It's a, subtle message. Save the zebras.
We don't need to be subtle.
Yeah.
So, where can people find you? If people have a business that is a little tucked away, that isn't like on the main street, that is new and want to be involved in vegan tours, can they get in contact with you?
Yeah.
If people want to book a tour, how do they find you? Are you branching out to like Brisbane and Adelaide?
The dream, absolutely. So we definitely want to keep growing all over Australia, because we know the vegan movement is growing. And Melbourne, Sydney, and Brisbane, that's sort of the order of how it goes with in terms of
makes sense.
Veganism in those cities. So we know Brisbane might be next, but Adelaide's also growing really quickly. So if you want to start, it'd be a tour guide. Let us know. At the moment, you can find us at sydneyvegantours.com or melbournevegantours.com. And
same on Instagram too, the handles
same
are.
on Instagram. So Melbourne Vegan Tours and Sydney Vegan Tours. You'll find us on there. Our logo looks the same, so you'll know. You can see it here. We have a little leaf with the vegan tours. All the information, you can find us on there. We'd love to hear from you. Send us an email. Yeah,
Awesome. Thank you so much for talking to me. I'm really excited. We're going to go on a tour really soon and try out heaps of yummy food around Glebe. Make sure you check out Vegan Tours, either Sydney Vegan Tours or Melbourne Vegan Tours website, Instagram, follow them, especially if you're a local in either of those two cities, because the chances are there are going to be vegan places that you have never ever been before on those. So thank you once again.
So much.
And we'll see you guys next time on Fat People. Bye.
Bye.